Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Innovation Alley. We're your hosts. I'm TowelManPurple.
I'm Bjorn.
And today we're going to take our own spins on Ruby Amethyst, a deck that has been plaguing the game since the start of Set 1 until now. So now we're trying to take unique positions on seeing how we can adjust to the new meta. Maybe bringing some new ideas to the table. Now, Mr. Bjorn here seems to have concocted Mr. Zero Characters, a new little blossom flower. How about you tell us about this deck right here?
Well, as you said, it's time to reimagine what these colors can do. And I usually like to play 60 characters, so I thought, what if I play 0 characters? And let me tell you what, it's a whole thing. Right?
Yeah, dive into it. Let's see.
So we got Befuddle for, just tempo, getting like that. That's me back to hand. Thievery for those aggro decks. We can both gain lore and seal at the same time. Gathering knowledge and wisdom. We have to get lore somehow, right? So win the game. If we can't quest, we have to use these actions and stuff. Show me more. It draws 3 cards, your opponent 2, but hey, that's fine, because we're Ruby. So, we can play stuff like Brawl, Dragonfire, just remove their stuff.
Yep, so some removal spells.
Yeah, I mean, we got songs here, but of course we're not singing them, we're just using them like normal actions. Like, this is my family, gain a lore, draw a card, pretty good. Friends on the other side, draw 2 cards, pretty good. Pirate's Life, again, for the aggro decks, you want to make sure that they lose lore while you also gain lore, so you have time to win. And of course, be prepared, right? You're going to draw the opponent a lot of extra cards, so especially against aggro decks, you're going to play down lots of extra characters. So be prepared, just sweeps the board. And remember, you have 0 characters, so there's literally no downside to playing Be Prepared.
Yeah, you definitely need that factory reset button. You definitely need it.
Yeah. And for the items, we got the Amethyst Chromicon is just to continuously draw cards, right? Yes, it also draws the opponent's cards, but you can use them more than the opponent can, I think. And again, if your opponent plays stuff, you can just blast them. Just blast it away. The Sorcerer's Spellbook is just a very, very reliable lore game, You can pay 1 to gain 1 lore every turn with that spellbook, and if that's your only source of lore, it can just win you the game in 20 turns, right? As long as you can stall for it. So, so the mix of like explosive lore gain and persistent lore gain through these items and actions makes you go to 20. But a certain person in here has influenced me with his ways of the locations.
Who, me?
Yeah, it's your fault. So we got some locations here too, Ferry ship used as because, we don't really play anything on 1, except maybe a Befuddle if we're going second. So the ferry ship is here just like, oh yeah, you can play something on 1, and then if your opponent wants to beat it down, then they have to waste probably 2 turns doing so, and, not gain lore, so you come closer to Be Prepared while the opponent does not come closer to questing for victory. And also, Agrabah is a classic. Costs 3, but 2 lore per turn. Only 5 willpower, but that's fine. Again, if the opponent wastes like 2 characters challenging into this, that's less lore for them. Or you just play the locations down after Be Prepared. What's the opponent gonna do, right?
Right.
But then we have this spicy gem here. I just was looking at what locations existed, and I saw Elsa's Ice Palace that nobody in the entire world has ever played. And let me tell you, it's amazing. It's a super good card. So what it does is that when you play the location, you freeze a character. You freeze an exerted character forever until that location goes away. And that's insane.
It is. It is.
I mean-
Actually, I think that card is really relevant in a world where there's only one actual deck that contains Amethyst in it, and that's the Amethyst Steel deck, right? And even them, they happen to be shying away from Fox, which I think was the biggest downfall of this card ever seeing play. So
Absolutely.
I really like what you're doing there.
Yeah, it's like Fox or Crab is the only thing that can, reliably beat this down unless the, opponent already has a board early. And also, it also has lore. I don't understand why it has a lore pip.
What do you
Right?
mean? It's uninkable. It has to have a lore pip.
Yeah, well, that's fine. We're having 28 uninkables here, and we don't regret it one bit.
Whew.
It's fine.
Whew.
I promise you, like, uninkables are only a problem if you're playing a bunch of stupid characters,
I mean, that's true. You also probably just mulligan all your uninkables away and try to make your hand as inkable as possible.
Probably. And, some of the inkables draws cards. Some of the uninkable cards, like This Is My Family or Show Me More, they just get you more cards when you play them. So are they really uninkable, though? Are they? You know what I mean?
Fair enough. That is Zero Characters. Mr. Zero Characters by Bjorn himself. There is not
Try
a
it out.
character
I
in the
swear
list.
it works.
That's pretty sick. I love it. I have to give it a spin myself. And there, Ruby Amethyst, another version. In this one, as well as the last one, as awkward as it is, they are both extremely budget friendly without the intention of doing so. Now, what we have here is more lower to the ground. We're trying to be able to push pace, be as aggressive as possible, but also have the ability to challenge at will. So we have 4 Chernobog followers. Obviously, it's a 2/1, but it has the ability of drawing a card if you need to get deeper into the deck or fill your hand back up. Same thing with Diablo being a 0/1. Whenever it's banished, you're drawing a card, so you have replacement effects. Then you have the 1-cost Maleficent, which is just a 2-quester for 1. Now, let's talk about Grandmother Fa. Right? It's a 2-cost, 1/1 quest for 2. Whenever this character quests, you may give chosen character of yours +2 strength, which means that she can allow one of your other characters to challenge profitably or to make it an even trade, however you look at it, while questing. So it's an added bonus. Then we have cards like Lumiere, which buff the strength of the team, which is kind of important. And to top that off, we have one location in Skull Rock, which also buffs the team, provided they're at the location. So we're trying to make our characters stronger in the strength department and go from there. We also have the 2-cost Queen of Hearts from the new set. Okay, now this card is a 2-cost 1/4, quest for 1, but if it's damaged, it's a 4/4. Right? It is a 4 strength character. That's great for trading up when you're challenging, right? Then you also have Merlin Crab, which also helps you to trade up when challenging. Then we also have Tinkerbell, which is a same thing as Surfer Mini from back in the earlier parts of the game, right? It's a 3-cost 1/3 evasive, the quest for 2. But with the addition of cards like Grandmother Fa and Merlin, it allows you to have the ability to challenge opposing evasives and adding a bunch to the strength column. Now, we also have Hand Sisu, the 3-cost 1/4, the quest for 2, and has plus strength equal to the amount of cards in your opponent's hand. This card has been a staple in a lot of aggro decks that presented Ruby in their color faction and would continue to do so. Then another card that's not really played as often, but the Dolores Madrigal. It is a 3/3 that quests for 2, and when you play it, if your opponent has an exerted character, you're going to draw a card. And that's exactly what we want to do, is always draw as many cards as possible to stay in the game, right? Then a card that I think is completely underrated at the moment in Prince Eric. It is the 4-cost 2/2 that quests for 2, and whenever the character is banished, you may banish another character. So this card is really, really good when challenging, because you can challenge up between the crab, the grandmother, or even if you needed the teeth itself in something else, and then have the ability go off. But then my favorite interaction is with Prince Eric and Radigan, because you can quest with Prince Eric, then play Radigan. Radigan says when this character enters, you can exert chosen opposing character with 3 strength or less, and then ready one of your characters. So you can quest with Prince Eric, exert one of your opponent's characters, ready your Eric, and then challenge into the character that you want to do, and basically allowing them both to trade, and then Prince Eric gets an extra trigger, so you're creating a 2-for-1 situation where there are just extremely profitable trades going on in that faction. Very, very good plays. Something I did back in Amber Ruby Mufasa, like set 2. It was just set 2, set 3, I think set 3. But fun lines to take, right? And then, of course, Card Soldiers, 5 cost, inkable, 5/5, quest for 2, vanilla. Nobody likes this card. Nobody's ever liked the card. It's been my pet.
You do.
My pet card, right? But I just think the stats on this character are still nuts. It's still relevant in this game. So while I still think it's relevant, I'm going to continue to play it because I think it's difficult to deal with, especially in the current environment that we're in the meta with Archaziasisland being involved, right? Last but not least, we have 4, Teeth and Ambition. Once again, it does help with Prince Eric. It makes Queen of Hearts go to a 4 strength if necessary, and can just deal with some of these small, pesky critters that your opponent happens to put out there, whether it's like some of their early game, the 1s and 2 drops. Something like Smee that's already quested, it gets to get rid of Smee and put damage on Queen of Hearts, and now Queen of Hearts can challenge into something relevant like a Lawrence, for example. It just allows for so many different lines that you can really mess up the opponent's math by doing so. So there you have it with this take on Ruby Amethyst, as well as the take of Mr. Zero characters. 2 separate ideas, one with characters, one without.
Yep.
Please tell us how you like it, what you feel, what you don't like, right down below in the comment section. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, stay up to date on all the decks that we come out with. But until the next one, keep innovating.